And hello again, friends and fans. Raven here with another deck building video for you today. And thank you for ICBM Raptor for providing me with my new opening for all my videos. And thank you for watching. This is my Swedish deck, right on the heels of my Norwegian deck review. And, well, Sweden's one of the three nations that got updated in the DLC, as you know, along with Denmark and Norway. And of the three, I think it's probably the most viable of the three, just to stand on its own. Excuse me while I make a small deck correction here. And they're a lot of fun to play, and I just wanted to share my deck with you, so I'll get right into it. First of all, I take a infantry CV in a helicopter. Just a very versatile choice. Whether you were rushing for a far zone, a side spawn, or just you had a CV sniped and you need to quickly get another CV on location. Infantry in a helicopter is probably the best way to do it. For my other CV, I actually take the basically Striv 9040 command. As you can see, it has 2 top armor, which, as you know, is very important for CVs, just because it helps them withstand bombing and artillery strikes so much better than 1 armor or no armor CVs. And you see, there's actually, you could take basically the command tank, which also has 2 top armor. Command tanks really got big price buffs in the DLC, and generally they're a pretty good value now. The only thing is, they're both of these units are 2 top armors, so you kind of think that that's a little bit of a toss-up. The Strip BV90 is actually faster though, and because of its autocan, I feel like it has a little more versatility in dealing with, for example, a helicopter sneaking behind the lines and trying to kill your command. I think it can defend itself against more threats, and so I personally picked it. You could definitely go with the 103B, though I think that's not a bad choice. I don't take the Jeep just because no armor, only 5 HP, and in the case of this unit, for only 10 points more, you get 2 top armor and a much better. I mean, this unit's just not worth it compared to the alternatives. Yeah, and so for supply, the Scania supply truck was actually added in the DLC. It's a pretty decent supply truck, good speed off-road, it's got decent supply capacity. It actually goes with the HKP-4A supply helicopter. This actually isn't the best supply helicopter in the game by far. It's got a very small capacity, but if you look at it, it's actually basically more or less the same capacity as a Scania, so it's pretty good synergy. If you think of it in your mind, like, you have 2 Scanias resupplying the front lines with 2 HKP-4As running back and forth to resupply those 2 Scanias. That works pretty well. And of course a FOB. The Scania just has a lot more supply than the Amphibi Bill 101, so that's why I pick it over the Amphibi, that thing. Infantry. I take the Kustjäger 90. This is probably the new best infantry unit in the game. Much stronger than Panzer Grenadier. Its machine gun is very strong. High rate of fire, high accuracy, CQC. It's got probably the new best infantry anti-tank weapon in the game with 25 AP, which is the highest shoulder-fired AP in the game. 20 rate of fire, which of course is phenomenal. Not the best accuracy, though. That is compensated a little bit by the veterancy and elite stats of this unit. And the range is also above average for launchers. Overall, very effective armament, good assault rifle, 15 men. It is pricey. I take him in the HKP-3C. You could take him in the 4C. The only thing is you lose quite a bit of availability doing so, so I just elected not to. All you're really giving up is some speed and a minigun on your helicopter. So yeah, this is a really great unit. You could certainly take the earlier Kustjäger too to give you a little bit more of that power. It's just not quite as good. I think it really should only be 35 points. I think 40 points is kind of pushing it for this unit. And in general, like, you're paying 55 points per infantry squad here, so that's getting to be pretty insane. It's really at the upper limit of what I'd be willing to pay for an infantryman But these guys are definitely worth it. They make you really reconsider your infantry pricing point. Just very good unit. Panzerskite 90 are my next choice. This is actually an interesting line unit because the regular variant and the upgraded 90s variant are the same price. The only difference is their AT weapon changes. And it's hard to say one's actually better than the other. And that's why they have the same price. The Carl Gustav M2, it has more accuracy and lower AP. And of course lower rate of fire, so I guess the AT4 actually is a little bit better, but again it's not such a big deal. You could say that these guys should be 20 points or something. I personally choose the 90 just because I'd like that 20 rate of fire. I think it's more versatile in kind of assault situations, which is what I would be using this particular card for. You see I take them in the Striv 9040, which is a heavily armored IFV, very powerful autocannon, long range, high accuracy. Really good for just assaulting towns and forests. You see I also take it with my Storm Pioneer, who are these cool blue jumpsuit wearing guys who look like they're ready to fight Ebola as well as communism. They have just a submachine gun and a kind of standard flamethrower, just good assault troops, good for forests, good for towns, good all around. A 40-point package. This Striff 9040 really kind of backs them up and covers the weakness of this unit, which is, well, really light vehicles like APCs, IFVs. These guys really aren't very good at dealing with the stuff that comes with the infantry that they're going to be killing, so that really, the Striff 9040 helps them deal with that. I skipped over these Panzerskite. See, I happen to take the Carl Gustav variant of these guys. I guess just to have a little bit of diversity, because both of my other two infantry kind of have these fast-firing, low-accuracy launchers. I figured, I don't know, you could take either one of these, but the important thing is they come in this 10-point, excuse me, let me get that up, 10-point fast transport. Nothing really special about the TGB M42, just fast, just affordable. Just helps you reinforce your lines that much quicker. I see you can actually take the Panzerskite in the helicopter, which isn't a terrible choice. It's just the helicopters are difficult to get into the... F me. I didn't realize this unit was here. That's an easy change. Oh, that's why. Okay, well, now I'm taking Panzerskite 90 in the... basically the Swedish Sisu, even though I think you do take an availability hit, unfortunately. But this is a great transport. This 10 points for 2 front, 2 side armor, very fast. So I'll go ahead and try that out. OCD reorganizing my lineup here. Oops. Can you take these guys? I haven't looked at my deck close enough. Alright, so then I take the RBS 90. I think the RBS, I mean, it's guided, and I think it should get 5 HE, because guided is a pretty big weakness on manpads. That means they need to maintain a lock on their target, and therefore have their target in range to actually get the missile to hit. And they also need to not be killed while they're firing their missiles. That's kind of a weakness that guided launchers have, which is why I wish they had 5 HE. But it is very long range. It's the longest range manpad in the game. Nice accuracy. It also has 5 men, which is kind of an overlooked trait in these support squads. That 5 men really lets them just survive artillery and bombing so much more effectively than if these guys were 2 men. That's incidentally an advantage you get with the Swedish ATGM team as well. The only problem is the ATGM team is pretty short range, so it'll actually be in range of a lot of tanks' guns when they fire their admittedly high AP, good accuracy missile at them. And in general, I don't like ATGM soldiers that much. I don't think they've got much use, so you probably know from a lot of my other decks that I don't take them. But you could definitely substitute them in somehow if you really like them. Support, there's a lot of good units in the Swedish support. The first of all being this Rover RBS 90. It's got the same RBS as the manpads I just showed you. You notice it's actually got a twin RBS, so it fires 2 missiles before having to reload, 8-second reload, which I'm not crazy about. But I can fire these on the move. I mean, you can actually be fast moving this on a road away from helicopters and be just as accurate firing on the move as you are stationary. Generally a pretty versatile, fast AA, very affordable, though it is easy to kill, only 5 strength, 0 armor. To back it up, I take the LV KV-90. This is essentially the Swedish infantry fighting vehicle adapted as an AA gun. It's got a pretty powerful AA gun, nice range, nice accuracy, 1.5 HE, that's pretty neat. And of course it has all the stats of the regular Strif 9040, the same armor, 3 AP on its gun, nice range. This is really a versatile unit. It doubles as a fire support unit. I've actually had it defend me like flanks against rushes of APCs, killing them with its cannon. You can really do a lot of stuff with this. I definitely like this unit. That's part of why I take it over the VEEK 40, which is a pretty similar unit in terms of gun stats and a little more affordable, just not as versatile. You see, I also take the RBS 67. It's just a Swedish Eyehawk. Really not the best. Only the 3 missiles, only 40% accuracy, but it's kind of the best you can do because it's really long range AA, whereas your other stuff is actually pretty short range. So this is more a strategic asset. You would get, about 5 or 6 of these out to. They're very affordable. Get 5 or 6 of these out to cover against planes if you ever get the opportunity to do so. I take it over any of this stuff. It's got the crappy RBS 70. This is like the same Jeep except RBS 70. I think the 3 AA units I've chosen here are really the best choices out of what you have. And then I take the Amos, which is actually another adaptation of the Swedish infantry fighting vehicle, which is a double-barreled mortar. It's 5 HE, good range, good dispersion. It actually fires 2 shells at once, so it'll fire a volley of 3 bursts, I guess you would say, and so 2, 2, 2, and then those are what it fires. And that helps you get a lot of fire at downrange quickly, a lot of firepower. You actually see people spamming these, like 3 or 4 of them all firing at one target. I would go as far as to say these are actually kind of overpowered. I think they're going to get nerfed because they really are way too good, especially for their price. But I mean, this is the only mortar Sweden has, and it's a great mortar, so certainly feel free to take it. And then for artillery, I take the Bekan 1C, which is an extremely easy choice over the Bekan 1A because the 1C has advanced fire control, meaning it fires in 6 or 7 seconds, versus the Bekan 1A, which fires in only 30 seconds. Much better dispersion, you can see. Actually 50% faster off-road. This is actually, you really want to have this unit married to a FOB because they only have 14 shells, very bad autonomy. And actually I would always keep this thing very near a road because otherwise you're just too slow, you're going to have a lot of trouble avoiding counter battery. And also one thing to note is actually the Bekan 1C will just fire until it's empty, so you want to be really careful managing its ammunition. Don't just click and forget about it. You want to turn it off when you're like fire position, fire a few shells, and be ready to hit E to stop it after you've accomplished your goal. Otherwise you're going to lose a lot of supplies and ammunition just overfiring. Overall, a very strong support section though. Tanks, there's also some good choices here. I actually take all of the 3 new tanks added in the DLC for Sweden. I don't think the previous ones are very good. To begin with, we got a Leopard 2, which for years Eugen told us Sweden would never get, but thank God they decided to let them have it. This is a great addition to Sweden, great addition to Scandinavia. You see it has a very powerful 23 AP gun, high accuracy. Not the best armor, only 19, so it's not a true super heavy, but it is very strong. It can certainly hurt and stand up to enemy tanks. And you get 4 of them per card, only 1 card though. Definitely want to use these kind of as your mainline tank. Use your other tanks to support it. Take hits for it while it surgically removes enemy heavies and other tanks. Let's see. The Striv 103 line. This was kind of this is really unique to Sweden. You see, it's this very strange looking tank. It has no turret. It's just got a gun on the front, which is actually a pretty huge disadvantage. I guess I should show you the actual tank I'm taking. This tank actually, because of its unique design, it does not have a stabilizer. But it does have 15 rate of fire. It's small because it has a low profile, so it's harder to hit. Relatively well armored, 15 front armor. The problem with this tank is it has no stabilizer, like I said, and because of that, it's very difficult to use it in forests. It will not get the first shot on basically anything, because in order to fire, it can't aim while it's moving. It has to actually stop, and then it'll start to aim because it doesn't have a stabilizer, whereas units that have a stabilizer can begin aiming before they stop. For example, if you're attack moving through a forest. So this unit is best used kind of at the edge of a forest, just stationary, waiting to plink enemies that are attacking you. It doesn't do very well in forest fighting, despite what its rate of fire would suggest, just because, like I said, it doesn't aim very fast in forest because of lack of stabilizer. It also needs to actually turn to face whatever it's shooting because, again, no turret, so it's very susceptible to being detracked and then becoming useless because it can't shoot at anything. Very easy to pick off then. And in general, that's another reason, like in the forest, it can't rotate its gun to fire. It's something that has to actually stop and then wheel around to face, so that's another disadvantage in forests. Very nice unit, but very specific places it can be employed, so be very careful using it. And that goes for, obviously, its lesser brethren as well. Which, Striv 103C is okay. I don't think it's quite worth 80 points. I'd rather just pay 10 more for its big brother. And then Sweden has basically the Swedish Centurions. You see, the Striv 105 was added in the DLC. It's got basically Leopard 1 stats. I mean, very accurate gun, very high AP, relatively low armor for its time. It's only got 10 armor. But generally, very good unit. People say it's overpowered. A lot of people complain because they see the 70% accuracy. But it's only got 8 rate of fire on its main gun. I think this is actually a really great tank, very well priced. I really like it. I hope they don't change it. I think other tanks in this price range, especially Red 4 tanks, need to be brought up to this standard, not have this lowered to meet them. Especially the T-55 line, for example. If you wanted to add like a kind of cheaper, spammier tank, you could maybe go with like the Striv 104. I wouldn't use these early ones just because they're so slow. It's another nice thing about this Centurion, it's so modernized, it doesn't have the slow speed of its ancestors. Yeah, I don't go very tank heavy, but I think the ones I have chosen are the best value, and the other 5 aren't all that great. Okay, recon. Volsgrim Jaeger, just regular recon infantry. You see, I take them in the HKP 3C. Again, mostly just, well, you could take them in the HKP 4C, I guess. You don't lose any availability. It's just a matter of cost, so that wouldn't be a bad idea. I personally just take them in this. It doesn't really matter. And then I take, this is another adaptation of the Swedish infantry fighting vehicle. It's basically just a infantry fighting vehicle with recon. It's got stealth, very good optics, just very great choice. 50 points for this great autocannon and everything else. Certainly much better value than the 30 point, whatever this is. And better value than this, which has the same optics, but you know, it's just a Jeep. It doesn't have that nice armor or the autocannon. And of course, the recon helicopter. Overall, a very easy choice in the recon section, I think. Vehicles. Sweden's actually got some pretty nice vehicles. They got this new IKV 105, which I am almost sure is yet another adaptation of the infantry fighting vehicle. You see the chassis is very similar looking. It's got a very nice gun, 55% accuracy, high AP. It's very fast, affordable, just a nice fire support vehicle. You can certainly use them to kind of bulk out your force or just add firepower. A really big upgrade over the old IKV 91, which looks even more like the infantry fighting vehicle. It's got the same camo and everything. Really nice unit. I like this. Definitely take this. This old 10-point literally looks like a Stug from World War II. Not a great choice for obvious reasons. Here the Swedish actually have an Ito, which this isn't actually a terrible choice. The Ito doesn't have great AP anymore, but it is accurate. It does have a lot of missiles. I personally take the RBX PVTPJBG RBS 56, affectionately known as the Pimp Mobile on the forums for its very unique design. It's got the same ATGM as the infantry, but on a wheeled chassis. It carries 8 missiles, which is pretty exceptional for a ATGM Jeep. Difficult to use. You would really use this kind of behind your tank push to just provide fire support, or maybe at the edge of woods if you could get away with them not being seen. Another alternative, you could actually take this Coolest Rifle Jeep. Very affordable, very fast. Wouldn't be a bad choice. I just personally don't have any room for it in my deck. If I did, I probably would put it in. Helicopter, very easy choice. You just this kind of crummy Ito helicopter just gets the job done. If nothing else, you can send it around to deter heavy tanks pushing through or pick off something. Generally not a great unit, but it's the only thing you got, I guess. Then airplanes. Sweden actually got the Gripen. This is a modern fighter, which I think probably needs to have 50% ECM. But because it doesn't, you get 3 per card, which is actually pretty great. You could really dominate the skies with 1 card of these because they're very high performance. Very good plane. I would definitely take this. Certainly over the old, ASF, which just it's actually all right, but it's only got 2 semi-active missiles. Not nearly as good as the Gripen. But you could maybe take the JA-37 Viggen as kind of a support, because you can get 3 elite. I personally find 3 Gripens are enough. I don't need this other ASF card. I do take the ATGM plane, and I take it at 1 veteran, 2 cards. I'm not particularly happy with this, but taking them at veteran really lets you kind of up this piss poor accuracy on their ATGMs, which at least are fire and forget. I find that with it upvetted, you get about 50% accuracy on the missile, which means that you're guaranteed pretty much one hitting. Basically, with this unit, you have a 50% chance of the first missile hitting, and then a little higher the second missile hitting, because it'll fire a second or 2 later, therefore it's closer. Decent ECM for an ATGM plane. Not a bad pick, though. I wish that missile was a lot more accurate. And then I take the cluster bomber Viggen with the aptly named Mjolnir. I'm really not a fan of cluster bombers. In fact, I'd go as far as to say I'd hate cluster bombers, and I think they're very useless. I make an exception for this plane, however, because it has this amazing 10 AP on its cluster bombs. So this thing can really mess up stuff if you manage to hit. You could certainly use it to help clear forests. A wave of 2 of them will really flatten a tank push if you can aim the things well. Very difficult to use, but if you can pull it off, it's really helpful. I take it over. You could take the Lanson, which I think is a 0% overpriced napalm bomber. Don't really like that choice. Drakens aren't too good. For whatever reason, planes have a lot of trouble targeting helicopters now, which was kind of the Draken niche before it. It had these nice anti-helicopter rockets, anti-plane rockets too. But they don't perform as well anymore. I don't think they're worth the price. I was taking this Draken because it was given air-to-ground rockets, but I found a much better alternative in the SK-60B. This unit isn't used very much because it was bugged for a long time and wasn't very useful, but it is an amazing aircraft now. Let me tell you why. It's got these M-Class missiles, and what this means is that you can do a lot of micromanagement with this. If you, for example, click a target, it'll fire both its missiles at it and fire them reasonably accurately. They're fire and forget, whatever. And you can flatten AA or whatever your target is, but actually one of the cool things about this unit is you can give a shift command, like shift fire position and then shift fire position again, and it'll fire the missiles at 2 separate locations in one run. And I challenge you, go to like a skirmish and try this out. Use the shift command to link 2 different fire position commands, and it'll fire both of them, and fire them immediately, like boom boom, and they'll go to 2 separate locations. You can really get a lot out of this plane using that, and you get 4 per card, which is really great. I don't think veterancy affects the accuracy on this anymore, otherwise you could take them up for 3 veteran, but again, I don't think that matters. So 4 rookie, very great unit, very versatile unit because of that fire position trick I just mentioned. And to some extent it makes up for the lack of Swedish seed, which I think is kind of the biggest gap in this deck. No seed makes it hard to escort your otherwise fairly powerful close air support lineup. But with this, if you see 2 Tunguskas, you can fire position twice, kill both Tunguskas, and you've made a pretty good seed run then, huh? Yeah, I think that's the entire deck. Overall, this is a really fun deck. I like it quite a bit. I've tried it in a lot of different situations, assaulting cities, defending, whatever it is. It's really cool. I definitely advise you try it out, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Please remember, like, subscribe, whatever else, and thank you for watching. Yeah, this is Raven signing off.